Hi Beastie Besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're just joining me for the first time, hi, my name is Angelfish, pronouns they, them. And oh my goodness, I have done it to myself again. I have a lot to talk about. Welcome back to Checking In with Monster High. If you're new to this series, I try to keep up with as much of Monster High as a brand in its current comeback as I can. What that means is a lot of buying things, or a lot of reading things, and maybe even a lot of watching things. And today, this has been a long time coming. We're finally talking about the IDW Comics run in a more comprehensive form. At this point in time, the IDW Comics are set to release the final New Scaremester story issue on March 26th, which is about a week from now, at the time I'm recording this. Now, each issue of the IDW Comics has come out about a monthly, apart from the Pride issue, which came out 2 months before the official run of the comics started because they wanted it to come out in June. And we are at the very least getting the continuation of the Pride issues because we're getting another one this year. I believe we've already gotten a look at the comic book covers for them. There's one for Spelden and Valentine, and then there's one for Toralei and Claudine, just like last year. This issue I've already talked about, not super in-depth, but it's the, Toralei and Claudine summer romance before New Scaremesters events, and Spelden and Valentine's little getting together as a couple, presumably during either the last semester or sometime on the side while all of the shenanigans are happening during New Scaremester. I want to say it's happening on the side during the semester, because now that we have the context of the rest of the comics, with the way that Draculaura acts towards the middle of Spelden and Valentine's little storyline, it seems like this is happening during the school year that we are currently in because Draculaura is overworked by being a member of the school board. So, this has a little bit of importance. It gets referenced later on, at least Toralei and Claudine's little hideaway that they make in this issue gets shown during the whole breakup issue. Well, it's not a breakup full issue, but we get to see that. Now, what you need to know about issue 1, I believe I've already covered in a previous installment of Checking In with Monster High, but it bears repeating. This is our introductory issue. This sets up that someone is making monsters disappear in the background, and by sets up, I mean we kind of see it a little bit in the background with, missing posters and stuff. The Free Comic Book Day issue, which I do not have, does actually set up that someone is working with Headmaster Frankenstein, or has a proposition for him that involves Frankie and, some of the other students without their knowledge. But we don't really get that brought up again until issue 6, which I will give my thoughts on the way that this entire run has handled its story once I've gone through them all. But this is our setup. Frankie and Claudine are the only two hanging out of the core friend group because Cleo is mad at Claudine and Draculaura is too busy for them. That's our setup. Issue number 2 is Cleo being, not really manipulated, but also kind of manipulated by the Werecat twins to keep her, honestly, one-sided feud between herself and Claudine. Some people are like, oh, that came out of nowhere, but it's not out of nowhere. It does seem to me that it is a little interesting that they've gone back to this, because this is a very old, early G1 story idea. Claudine and Cleo used to not get along at all. In the First Wave Diaries, they fucking hated each other. By the way, this is an adult channel for adult collectors, so I might swear. Sorry, YouTube. I know you don't like that. But, Claudine and Cleo have always sort of had a frenemies deal going on in their diaries. that isn't super visible in the animated movies that everyone remembers, but it is present in the early webisode volumes as well as in the early written material. And it comes back here. Only Cleo thinks Claudine was flirting with Deuce, and that's why they're not talking. And the Werecat twins seem to have persuaded Cleo a little bit more heavily on this decision. Also, Gulia is the only friend from the core group that Cleo still hangs out with. Frankie is at least nice to her, but that is where we're at in issue 2. Issue 3 is Draculaura dealing with a crap ton of things on her plate by being a member of the Monster School Board. This was something that was set up in Once Bitten, Twice Dead, making this series a full continuation of the semester after the events of that book. That book, I do recommend reading if your library has it. I don't recommend paying for Once Bitten, Twice Dead. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it does provide a lot of context that I think you might need for this series. During issue 1, I was like, okay, you're given enough to work with. By issue 3, you need to have read Once Bitten, Twice Dead, unfortunately, which I hate when that happens. I have this thing where I don't like where you need to purchase another material in order to gain context for the current run of something. But that's just me. Like, that's a personal issue I have. It's fine. The comics do try to give you at least enough context where you can follow along a little bit. Most of the issues read okay without it, but sometimes it'll bring up a thing, and then you're just like, where the hell did that come from? And if you haven't read Once Bitten, Twice Dead, you're not gonna know. This is where I would put issue 4 if I had issue 4. That one supposedly covers Claudine and the incident of the grave ball game that everyone has been doing fear-leading tryouts for in the previous 2 issues. Now, I can't give a summary for issue 4 because I never found it. I've checked every comic book store locally. I have to order it. It's, at this point, it's kind of pointless for me to do that. I can't find it. So, I don't know what happens in issue 4. I'm assuming, based on what issue 5 says, that it has to do with any sort of drama that has built up in the previous 3 issues, finally just culminating to a boiling point. Now, in between issues 4 and 5, we have the Halloween special, and this one has a fun little cameo from our Skeletor doll, Elvira, which is really fun. I love that she's in this issue. It's just so campy and silly. This issue at first seemed to have plot importance because Slow-Mo does go missing at the end of it and they can't find him. But as of issue 5 and 6, Slow-Mo's disappearance is retconned, so he's fine, to my knowledge. I don't know if when they wrote this, they forgot that they made him disappear in the corn maze, because immediately in issue 5, which follows Gulia Yelps and starts to tie back in the overarching plot of monsters going missing, he's fine. He's in it. In fact, he shows Gulia that the school is having some weird stuff going on, and then at the end of this issue, Gulia gets kidnapped. She goes missing. That's the whole point of this issue, is Gulia disappears. That is context that came out after this. This is technically between issues 4 and 5 as well, both of the holiday issues, because... Oh wait, no it's not. No it's not. This is between issues 5 and 6. I am so sorry. For a second I was like, wait, no, I'm getting confused. I had to do a lot of reading before this. Hang on. So, Holiday Haunt, after looking at my notes, this takes place after issue 5. Gulia is missing. Cleo references this in dialogue. She's worried, and she will be for a while. We don't know where Gulia is, but she's presumably not safe. And Johnny Spirit makes his one and only appearance in this comic run in Holiday Haunt. Now, this issue is infamous amongst fans because people are mad about Frankie and Johnny having some sort of fling going on here. People are like, Frankie stole Operetta's man. This is so bad. Having read this, having paid for it and having read this, and also being an Operetta fan who literally has my signature Operetta just like sitting above my desk every time I record one of these videos, I have thoughts. So, first and foremost, when it comes to if Frankie ruined Johnny and Operetta's relationship, can I just say something? We didn't lose anything of value, okay? Operetta and Johnny's relationship was bad. I hated it. It made Operetta really whiny for some reason and just act really out of character towards the end of G1. So, I'm glad that they're broken up in this because their relationship was nothing of value to me. It was weird. And I think some other people might think that as well and just are afraid to say it. But I'm not. Operetta and Johnny were a bad ship. Hated it. Did not need to see it back. So I'm glad it's not back. Frankie and Johnny, it isn't even really a fling. Much like the Halloween issue where they're like, oh, Frankie x Manny. It doesn't really go anywhere. Like, this goes a little bit further than Frankie and Manny's perceived flirting, but Claudine was the only one that was like, oh, you two are flirting. In this one, it's a little bit more overt. Frankie reciprocates. But Johnny's also gone by the end of this issue. Like, he goes off. He does this thing where he tries to get a truth serum to a school dance via fog machine to see if anyone else around Monster High knows what's happening to the missing classmates, and nobody has answers for him, so he's like, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble, I better skedaddle. That's the whole crux of this issue. And also, we kind of get a little bit of, like, Toralei and Claudine admitting that they still aren't fully mad at each other. Like, it's just, like, a little 2 lines of dialogue when everyone's dealing with the truth serum, but Claudine was like, I only broke up with you because I was scared. I don't know if that's going to come back in issue 7, but that is where they are at, because as of issue 6, which is almost double length, and is the most recent issue at the time I'm recording this, Toralei is dating Weberella. Like, let me flip through the pages to find it, but I know she's around here somewhere. Oh, shit. 1 second. Yeah, Toralei is apparently seeing Weberella right now, so don't know where that's going to go or if that will be relevant again. It's probably not going to be in the next Pride issue because the next one did say it's about how they started dating, how Claudine and Toralei started dating. But this issue is mostly Cleo trying to get answers for where Ghoulia is, as well as Draculaura starting to put the pieces together of maybe Headmaster Frankenstein knows what's happening here. We are very near to the end of the storyline run with New Scaremaster. Issue 7 is set to be the final one. Now, of note, something major does happen. We get a new named character in this. Skellen. Full new appearance. She would be interesting to see as a doll. I don't think it'll ever happen, because I don't know how the licensing for that works. Admittedly, I doubt that we would ever get a doll of Skellen. It would be cool, but she seems like a character design that would be perpetually just only existent in the realm of one-of-a-kind dolls and not something that we ever actually see produced. Strictly because she only appears in this. But that is interesting, and that is something of note that I wanted to bring up. All in all, my thoughts on the comics now that we have the majority of this storyline run out is that they're good. I've enjoyed reading them, but also I really am sad that you can tell that they're trying to wrap everything up as quickly as possible because they were not renewed for more storyline issues after this. At least at this point in time. Like, issue 7 is going to be What's It, and that comes out on March 26th. So I will update you guys on how that goes. But with the comics out of the way, we can finally get into the dolls. So a lot has happened in the world of Generation 1. As far as existing, like, Monster High introduced characters go, I got Holiday Skeleta from last year. I actually have had her since Christmas. And she is adorable. I love her to bits. She is so fun, and I love her so much more than 2023's Skeleta. I mean, like, does she come with a whole lot? No. But she also has really gorgeous makeup, and I love her to bits. And also, speaking of Skeleta, 2025 New York Toy Fair was a couple weeks ago at the time I'm recording this, and we saw this year's Holiday Skeleta, and she is Aztec themed, which I am really excited for. I am so looking forward to that release of her. I already love this one a lot, and I'm so excited to see this year's in person, because I will be trying to get her. She is gorgeous. If you've ever seen the pictures of it, I recommend checking out Plastic Hearts. They did Toy Fair coverage. So good. She went above and beyond with New York Toy Fair coverage and showed us first looks at Cupid for G3, the next Ultimate Secrets series. I heavily recommend checking them out. But I'm excited for the new Skeleta that's coming out later this year. I really love this one. I mean, she's got some really cute shoes. I mean, look at these. The cempasúchil, the butterflies, the candle heels. Like, this is Monster High. I love this. I know some people hate Skeleta, but those people are not my friends, so I don't care about them. On the Mattel Creations side of things, I already have review videos for them up on the channel, but we did get the Squid Games doll at the very end of last year. She shipped in December, and I have a review of Young-hee up on the channel, as well as the Sanderson sisters. Winifred is just the closest one, so she's the one I grabbed, but they have their reviews up on the channel. If you would like to go check those out, I recommend doing so. I've said all that I wanted to say on them in those videos. But on the topic of Skelectors, since then, holy fuck, that's all I can say. To sum up my thoughts, because we just had basically every Skelector doll for 2025 leak within the months of January and February. We already knew about the upcoming Jordan Peele's Us Skelector set. That was leaked last year, like in October, I want to say, around the time the Sandersons released. But since then, Emily from Corpse Bride, fully, like, someone has her in hand. Actually, a couple people do, apparently. She's coming in August. I have thoughts on how she looks. I will hold off on those thoughts until I have her in hand, because I don't want to jinx myself, because I do love the Corpse Bride. I've had the privilege of seeing some of the puppets for it in person. So I want Emily. I'm excited for Emily in some capacity. She's coming in August for, I think, $60, $65, around the same price as Young-hee was, which is not bad. Although, for Emily, construction-wise, maybe it is bad. We're getting another Elvira doll in June, similar to, like, the RuPaul doll in terms of release strategy. We got Witch Weaver, which is a designer collab. Actually, that was just a regular release. And then speaking of regular releases, in February for Valentine's Day, and I missed them and I'm mad about it, Beetlejuice and Lydia got re-released in their red wedding outfits, and while I don't particularly like that part of the movie, I do like the way that the dolls look. Particularly Lydia, I think she's cute, I love her makeup, and I'm really sad that I missed out on them. Maybe in the future I'll get them, who knows. But, you know, the Skelector line is just all over the place. Also, Fang Club Venus, I don't have her, but I want her. she's come out already. Same with the designer series new character, much like Lenore Lumington came out last year. We have a manananggal named Corazon Mariquit, and I am looking forward to her as well. She's already come out. Mattel Creations revealed happened at the beginning of this month, and people have already been receiving their orders for her. I just didn't get a chance to order her yet, just because $75 for a doll in this economy is a lot. So I've been kind of, if you've noticed, not really going for a lot of Skelectors. Like, I think I had stated, like, last year, these were probably going to be it for a while. But I do really want Corazon. Not only because she splits in half, but also because she's really pretty, and I genuinely enjoy her design. I did, however, from Mattel Creations revealed, get the Little People collector set, and that's coming in the mail soon. Like, it shipped at the time I'm recording this as of this morning. So that's coming. Also, it's probably good that I got down my original operetta, because the pre-production for her is coming out in April, which is exciting. The pre-production for Toralei is also coming out, as are the Werecat twins. I'm only going to try for operetta. Honestly, there's no Nephra in this repo wave, so operetta is the only one that I care about, because I never really cared for G1 Toralei. I know, blasphemous. And Persephone and Meowlity were never my girls. So operetta is the only one that I care about, and I'm excited for that. She's going to retail for $25. Also, in a similar vein, Real Drama's coming back. I did not bring my Laguna over here for this, but we're getting a restock of them later this fall, and Cleo is joining the mix, which is exciting. Now on to Fang Vote, and this is a perfect segue into G3. Caddy Noir was this year's Fang Club Fang Vote. Now, she is the first G3 collector doll in a while, since Laguna. We all know how well Fancy Laguna went. Not poorly, but not great. She did just okay. Actually, she did kind of underwhelming. She only did okay because she's Laguna. Caddy will retail for $100, and she comes out at the end of this month, I believe on the 28th. For $100, I'm not going to be able to come up with that in time, so I'm not going to try for Caddy, but I hope that with her succeeding, and I hope she does succeed, that G3 will start getting more collector-level dolls, because, I mean, I want that for G3. I just won't be able to go in for Caddy, which sucks, because I love her, but, you know, it's still exciting regardless. Now, speaking of G3, at the end of last year, we had the Ghouls Getaway, Eekend Getaway, Target exclusive pack with Claudine and Draculaura, and the car. I did not record an unboxing of that because I got them as a gift for the holidays, and I did not feel like recording it, if I'm being entirely honest. But they're really fun. They're really cute. I love them. I love the car. The car's really fun. The car's huge. I've never had a doll car before. Not once. When I was a kid, I had to make my dolls' vehicles out of shoe boxes. So, you know, I appreciate it for what it is. Like most people, they wanted the pack for the dolls. I wanted it for the whole damn thing. Because doll car. Maybe healing my inner child. I don't know. I will save talking about the next Skulltimate series and Scary Sweet Birthday for when those are actually out, because at the time I'm recording this, they're only about a month away from release. But what I will talk about is Buried Secrets, because the newest Monster High budget line is here. Don't ask me why I squished her head. I just felt the need to. Now, one thing you will notice about mine in particular is I have rebodied both my Draculaura and Claudine. They are also the only two from this series that I've been able to find, because Buried Secrets seems to be doing absurdly well. Like, I don't know if any of you have noticed, but Buried Secrets is low-key kind of hard to get in person. Like, the stores that stock them tend to not have them for long because they just sort of sell out like that. Like, every time I've gone looking for them, and I really want the Frankie from this set. I have had an Indonesian Frankie body sitting in my Draculaura coffin locker ready for them when I get them. Have not been able to find them. Would it help if they had codes on the back? Yes. Would it be easy if there was any sort of indicator to know who you have in the store before you go home? Yes. Is that going to happen? Probably not, because we live in the US, and it's so sad because blind packaging thrives here, and I hate it. But it's interesting as a concept. You know, the dolls have polypropylene hair. This series has normal screenings. The next series was revealed at Toy Fair, and they have UV pixel screenings, which are a little bit less exciting. I don't like a pixel screening. I just think they look a little tacky, but for a budget doll, I suppose it's fine. I'm not the target audience for that. I'm just along for the ride. But I think the budget series, the way that it's currently operating, is interesting, you know? Buried Secrets, 4 characters total, blind box, generally complete one-piece outfit, shoes, but I don't know if I'm going to be getting any of Series 2. I think Series 1 is good, and I will need to see Series 3 if I'm going to continue working towards covering those. I mean, they're fine. I kind of want the Draculaura from Series 2 because she is giving G2, but like in a good way. But, you know, they're cute, and I like the faces of Series 1 in particular. They retail for about $17, which is about the same price as Scaradise or Day Out, our other 2 non-blind packaging budget lines, which are hard to get a hold of for some reason. God, budget lines these days are just not easy to find. It's so sad. But yeah, I was expecting to have more to say on Buried Secrets, but I actually don't. They're just okay, you know, it's a line, it's cute. Claudine is kind of the standout from Series 1 for me, just because she does have my favorite makeup, and maybe my favorite hair. Just, I love curly doll hair, it's so fun, it's so cute. Does it cover her ears? Yes. Do I care? No, we do not. It's fun, it's fine. And they all have earrings, which is fun. I think the only notes I have for Buried Secrets is there has to be a code or something on the back, like a little symbol. Please put a little symbol on the front of the blind packaging so that we know who we are getting. Just a little color-coded system would be nice. That way, duplicates are harder to happen, because nobody likes a duplicate of a blind box item. Yes, people like duplicates sometimes of dolls that they can see, but for blind packaging, that's debatable. G3 is really just going in an interesting place this year. I think having a budget line will help it stay afloat these next couple of years, because the toy industry as a whole is going to suffer for reasons that I am not about to get into in, honestly, a video that is going to be long enough on its own. But I think the budget line will help. I do think it's interesting, the character selections that we've gotten. Like, we've gotten Claudine, Cleo, Frankie, Draculaura. Next series, Cleo's getting the boot, Toralai's getting in. I do think of the Monster High characters that are going to be in Buried Secrets, there is one that we're probably not going to see for a while, and that is Laguna. Laguna is in an interesting place in 2025 because she's only getting 2 dolls this year. A 2-pack with Claudine, and then her Day Out doll is finally coming, which is exciting. And then we're going to see Laguna again in 2026 for her core refresh for 2026, I believe, because supposedly we're getting refresh looks for the fall, which is going to be fun if it does actually happen, which I hope it does. It should be. It would make sense. Plus, it will have been 2 years since the core refresh looks come out, and dolls generally aren't meant to be that on the shelf for that long. But I digress. Laguna is the one character I do not expect to see in Buried Secrets. I would love for them to prove me wrong, but she has too many, independent, extruded little bits from a manufacturing standpoint, she's the one character I don't expect to see in this line. If she does happen, that'd be great. But I also seriously doubt it. As for what's left to talk about with G3, like I said earlier, I'm going to cover the next Skulltimate Secrets series, Hauntleigh Mysteries, when that comes out, because I will be purchasing all 3 of those dolls. Frankie, Claudine, and Caddy both look, well, not both, there's 3 of them. They all look really fun, and I'm excited for Frankie in particular. And then, as far as other G3 lines coming, we have Scary Sweet Birthday, also set to release in the very near future, which is our big themed line this year. And that's bringing back Cupid, which I am excited as all hell for. But that is all that I have to cover for this video. We are all caught up. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. And the next video should be unboxing the Little People collector set, because I ordered those and they have shipped, so that's going to be fun. Until then, love you, stay safe.